Then you multiply the sum total by 12.5% and you get your element for import VAT for that particular importation. Then from import VAT, we can look at other taxes like ECOWAS levy, which is 0.5% of the CIF. We talk about AU levy, 0.20%. We talk about seals, special import levy, 2% of CIF. Then we come to the net charge. The system we are using, the Incoterms, we pay for it as an importer, and the law says we should pay 0.4% of the FOB here, not CIF, the FOB. So we deduct it, and taxes are collected on this net charge too. So examples are in your folder. So that is the way we calculate. And this calculation still also follow the same pattern for used vehicles. But the only difference is that for general goods, you may end up calculating processing fee, which are not applicable to used vehicles, because in used vehicles, you end up calculating vehicle examination fee. So that is it. And all other taxes are there, the bases are there, and the formulas for calculating other taxes accompanying any specific imports are there. So you look at the examples in your slides and follow. If you don't understand anything, come back to me. We'll discuss it and find a solution to it. With our lectures, we've just done with the calculation of CIF. We have done with the calculation of the CIF for both general goods and used vehicles, and also how we apply the values so calculated to compute import duty and other fiscal taxes on the two segments under control. Now we are going to do customs, bonds, and securities, which are very necessary for customs procedures or regimes. Yeah, so customs bond is a legal document which is executed by persons who bind themselves to pay to the government a specific sum of money called the penalty of the bond if any of the conditions mentioned in it are broken. Customs security means that which ensures to the satisfaction of the customs that an obligation to the customs will be fulfilled. Security is described as general when it ensures that the obligations arising for several operations will be fulfilled. It's under the Kyoto Convention. I've told you to read it under WCO. Yes. Then, what are the essential points in a bond? The description of the parties to the bond, the purpose of the bond, conditions to be observed, and the penalty of the bond. Types of bond. There are two types of bonds. Particular bond that covers a single and specified transaction. General bond covers many transactions of a similar kind for an indefinite time. So notice particular bond and general bond. Yes. So who are the parties to a bond? The principal or the obligor is the party entering into the bond and who is primarily required to pay the penalty of the bond should any of the conditions are broken. The surety or the guarantor is the party guaranteeing the principal and who is jointly or severally held liable for the payment of the bond penalty. The principal defaults in observing. If the principal defaults in observing the conditions of payment of the bond when required to do so, the government or the obligee, the beneficiary of all this, is the party to whom the bond penalty is paid. And normally that's the Customs Administration in Ghana. That's the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Yes. Who is qualified to stand as a surety to these bond operations? You should be a Ghanaian and you should be domiciled in Ghana, not outside. You must be creditworthy to the tune of at least the bond penalty. You could be a healthholder, meaning you should be sane. You should not be insane. Minors are not debarred from acting as sureties as in other bondings, provided the minor is creditworthy. A surety may be either a bank or an insurance company. In Ghana, we are mostly using the state insurance company as guarantors for bonds and securities associated with customs transactions. The following persons can also stand as surety provided they are creditworthy. Justice of the peace, that's the judges and the lawyers, medical officers, minister of religion, lawyers, senior and police officers, and the general manager of a company of repute, not just any company, of repute. Yes. So apart from that, what are the other forms of customs securities used to secure the revenue? Cash deposits, bank guarantee checks and drafts, triptychs and carnets for vehicles temporarily imported, the ATA certificate for general goods temporarily imported, electronic seals and devices at times with human escort, the goodwill and self-recognizance. So if you observe all these things, you are good to go with customs. So how do we execute a bond? Customs bond must be signed, sealed, and delivered. A signatory to a bond should affix a red seal and should deliver the bond by placing a figure on the red and saying, I deliver this to you, customs, as my art and deed. Yes. So after delivering and depositing the bond with customs, when is the bond cancelled? Yeah, the bond is only cancelled when the conditions in the bond have been fulfilled. When the principal fails to fulfill the conditions, the surety is called upon to pay the bond penalty, else the bond is put in suit for the recovery of the penalty. Surety under sections 108 to 111 of the Customs Law, surety shall be deemed a principal debtor and not merely as a surety, and therefore shall not be relieved of his obligation to the settlement of the bond penalty until the debt is paid. A bond may also be cancelled at any time by the order of the Commissioner of Customs. Very important. Yes, so that is the end of Customs bond. We continue with another subtopic called the ICOMS. And the ICOMS flowchart. We all know what the ICOMS stands for. Integrated Customs Management System. This is the platform, the electronic platform that has digitized all the customs procedures, 100% paperless. You only need your BOE number at any desk or point you go to transact business with any frontliner or stakeholder like customs, the regulators, the MDAs. You only give them your BOE number. They put it to the system, it pops up for them to transact business with you. So the customs flowchart is, the ICOMS is a platform, electronic platform provided by the investors. That is Ghana Link Network Services Limited, which through the tax competition we pay some 0.4% of the FOB as the net charge. This money goes to the investors, so they are retrieving their investments with the returns on it. So how does the customs allow the customs house agent to use the ICOMS system to submit declarations and further validated or rejected otherwise by customs, so that it at the end it flows end to end, beginning from the procedure of clearing to the end of clearing. So that's the system we are using, the customs, the integrated customs management system. So, and if you open the ICOMS, the general home window is there. You log in, because we customs house agents who are using it are trained, giving usernames and passwords. You log in and it opens, and all transactions, regardless of the regime you are doing, starts with creating of a UCR, unique consignment reference number. You go under the software, the single window, drop the arrow, you create your UCR, and because this is principally a document carrying file, you attach all relevant documents to it with regards to a specific transaction, depending on the sort of regime, the import you are doing, the export, and even free zones. They will require certain specific documents. You attach all them to the UCR, because as you move along, when the system detects you've not attached the appropriate document, it queries you and you have to come back and do it. It all goes with time and advance payment of penalties before the corrections are allowed to be done by Customs Division. Yes. So after that, you submit it for validation, and you are given the unique UCR number that you can use as your reference and always access it to do or not to do that otherwise. And it is always accompanying, and that is the matter, the foundation of all declarations in the customs system. We always make reference to the UCR for every specific transaction, being import, export, or foreign or other customs procedures or transactions. So that is the essence of the ICOMS. And it is on the ICOMS that after grading of the UCR, you can use it to generate the BOE, which you submit thereafter, and whereby customs accept it, validate it, or reject it. But when customs reject it, they will send it back to you and assign the reasons why it was rejected. You can correct it as many times as you can and resubmit until it is validated, or that is accepted. When it is accepted, you are given a tax assessment for you to view. This tax assessment is for acceptance or rejection. The moment you reject it, you assign reasons, send it back to customs. They will process it and come back to you or the otherwise. When you accept it, meaning the assessment that has been given to you, accept it, and you pay through any participating bank or through any of the electronic payment platforms now, like the Momo, like the GGov platform, Pay Ghana platform, and a whole lot. If you still want to walk into the bank and pay cash or checks across the counter, they are still open to you. But for convenience sake, use the electronic apps by pressing buttons on your laptop, your desktop, and even your mobile phone, and you are good to go, provided you have credit and that money lodged in your account associated with the payment method. Yes. Yeah. After that, you go to the shipping lines for release or delivery order after settling all their liabilities. Yes. After that, you go to the terminal for settlement of liabilities and subsequent examination of goods and exit. But take note, along the procedure, any error detected before, during, and after clearance are corrected by either simple amendments or post entries. But apart from this principle in the main flow chart, we have other arrows dropping by the sides. There are a lot of other services or requests that you want to do on the icons. You pick that particular service or request, put in your request, and submit it to Customs Division, and they will come back to you with the appropriate treatments or procedure to follow until the procedure is finished. But this is the normal thing, which is normally also called the home consumption procedure.